Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. And for the censors out there, I always tell you at the New Health Conversation, our number one concern is to stay within the community guidelines. Now, why are we able to do that? Because we only quote from peer-reviewed human trial medical studies that are in the public domain. So every person on a podcast can go and see the actual proof. We don't make things up. We don't make claims. Everything we talk about is completely safe because it's been scrutinized by the top medical researchers for weight loss, for diets, for nutrition and physiology. So we just want to clear that up that we're totally always on board as far as community guidelines. So hello, people already. Jay Backel, user 514, Nathan, Angelo. So again, most people are very, very interested, concerned, or puzzled. Yes, that young woman right there lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It's a revolutionary new approach that was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. There are no products involved. This is food and two new ways of eating that have never been tried before, and these are the results. We're going to show you, and we're going to prove to you. We have 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies proving that this is safe and it works. This is going to make every single diet out there obsolete. That may sound like a pretty bold statement to most of you, because most of you are so hung up, you're holding on to this notion that the way to lose weight is calories in, calories out, calorie restriction, etc. Well, the bottom line is now all the major experts, I'm going to show them to you, everybody from Harvard Medical School to Medicare to the New England Journal of Medicine, they're all saying that the whole concept of calories in, calories out is dead, bury it, it's over, we need a new way. Although they didn't find the new way, these new researchers, who, like I said, are considered the top weight loss researchers in the world, they developed this. They don't have any products, they don't sell anything, we don't sell anything. Basically, we're researchers, we're called the researchers of the researchers because we're bringing this research to the world, to all of you for free. As a matter of fact, you all can go to our homepage, it's right there above my head in blue, the New Health Conversation. There's nothing to buy there. The only thing on that medical website is the actual medical proof. And you'll notice right above, free coaching to ensure your success. We're researchers. We're willing to coach you for free and show you exactly how to do this. And most importantly, not just how to lose the weight, but to keep it off. The protocol itself is called R, like Robert, 2M, race to maintenance. The only reason to do this is to be able to lose the weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. I'm not kidding you, that is the goal. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what you should be excited about. So let's come back to the pictures again. Now, each one of these that I'm going to show you is from the medical studies. And here's the other thing. She was not allowed to, no one was allowed to exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Now, why would they do that? Not because, hello, Charlene, hello, Pamela, hello, Strong Soul, hello, Dunn, Kleins, Nance, Water Tower, Lisa G. Now, why did they not let them exercise? Because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, people would say, oh, well, it was diet and exercise. No, it was just this new protocol, which is based on foods and on new ways of eating, never done before. This is brand new. This is never, ever done before. And these medical studies that some of them were started back in 2012, 13 years ago. That's how long some of them take. The good news is they've tracked the people in these studies, and they've all been, almost all of them have been able to keep the weight off now for 8, 10, 12 years, whatever it might be. I'd love to ask all of you a question, and that is this. One, if you were going to lose 20 pounds, anybody here, how long would you give yourself on any diet you've ever been on, if you can be honest? Secondly, does anyone know the definition of a calorie? Now, the reason that's so important is you're all counting calories on these various diets, but if you don't even know what a calorie is, why are you counting calories? Because someone told you. That sounds good. But what is the technical, the physical definition of a calorie? I think I'm up now in a year's time. I've had 5 people that got the definition correctly. I didn't know what it was 23 years ago, so don't feel bad. But you've got to understand that we're focused on something that is not, it has no relevance in your body. Your human body has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. It doesn't care about calories. It's complete and utter nonsense, right? So let me show you the other couple of pictures real quick, and then I promise we'll come back and we'll walk you through step by step. What did they do, okay? Now, one more time. All of you, this is a free medical website for you to go to, the new Health Conversation. That's the movement that I formed. That's the website that you can go to and see all the medical proof for free. And if you go to that website, we won't contact you. No. Only way we'll contact you is if you decide you like the medical proof, then you can get a free coach. You see it right above there. And the coaching is free the whole time, not just a consultation, but all the way through, getting you through your weight loss or weight gain. Because we got kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant, people with no gallbladders, and we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical proclamations whatsoever. All we do is we're sharing with you from the medical studies, and we'll show you exactly what they did in those studies. We didn't invent it. We had nothing to do with that. So don't, if you get mad over anything I say, you're getting mad at the science, not me. I'm just the conduit. I'm the reporter. I'm giving you the news. Now, you probably won't like the news because every diet you're on, you're doomed to failure, and I'll show you the medical proof for that, okay? So the second picture that I'd like to show you, this young woman, that's 35 pounds in 37 days. That is not Photoshop. That's the actual results. Black Butt, Jojo Grits, Joanne, Lawrence, IV7923, Rachel. Welcome, everybody. And if we can get some taps on the screen and get some likes going, we're at 0 right now. Unless you don't like the content, then don't tap. But if you like the content, because this is going to support everybody around the world, that website is completely free. We do have people now that are coming on these podcasts from all over the world because it's a global problem. Did you know that we have 1 billion people worldwide clinically obese? Do you know in the United States now, they're projecting within 4 years, 4.5 years, 86% of you is going to be overweight or obese. Does that sound to you like diets are working? This is the biggest breakthrough in the history of diets. It's not even a diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories. I promise we'll show all of that in a moment. Now this one, most people think this is a different woman. This is actually the daughter of a friend of mine. It's a daughter. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months. But look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach. Where's the loose skin? This is revolutionary. It's going to change everything. And if you're hanging on to one of those old, whether you're doing paleo or keto or carb recycling or count your macros or 10,000 steps or whatever you're doing, the evidence is clear. You will lose weight initially on any diet, but 2/3 of you end up weighing more than when you started. And I'll show you the medical proof. So don't think I'm just making some statement without the proof behind it. I had someone challenge me yesterday, telling me he was doing a detox and it was in PubMed. I went into PubMed and it was just pathetic. They said as of yesterday, there's not one study showing that any of these commercial products that are claiming detox have one shred of medical evidence behind them. These researchers, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this, number one, the weight loss was a result of the people being able to detox their bodies. If anything, this is a detox. It's not a diet. Wait till you hear how amazing this is. Now, last but not least, let me show you an older gentleman. Look at this, everybody. 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. That's 10 pounds a week with no exercise. Look at his stomach. But more importantly, look at his lab work. Look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? Now, you can think it's Photoshopped. You can think we're lying. We don't have time to lie. We're researchers. We're busy. We're teaching people how to do what he did. But has anyone ever seen anything like that? I'd love for anybody to put Malls, SC, Sandy, Chef D, Johnny, Joni, I think it's Joni, sorry, April, lots of people, Laura. See, you're seeing these people coming on and they're telling you things like, well, you can look, we're going to show you how to lose 20 pounds in a month and most of it's fat. That, first of all, that's a complete lie. There's no such thing as burning fat, everybody, okay? Let me explain to you. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and those fat cells expand or contract. That's it. There's no such thing. Only way you reduce fat in your body is liposuction or through surgery. So right away when someone tells you that, run for the hills. Run for the hills. And also I see them coming on and they make all these proclamations. They don't have one shred of medical evidence. Why are you following them? Why are you following these people that don't have any proof? You're handing over your health to paleo, keto. None of them work long term. I'm going to prove it to you. Now, let's come back and let's talk about this and why does it work? I know everybody's excited about, or they said, get on with it, get on with it. I've been doing this long enough. I know that's what you're all thinking, right? So let's talk about the fundamentals first, because this is really important. Going on a diet and losing weight has nothing to do with counting calories, because the human body has no idea what a calorie is, and so far, no one. Yeah, I agree. What did he do? I'm gonna explain it to all of you right now. Here's the problem with diets. Diets have nothing to do with calorie counting because your body has no idea what a calorie is. Your body, my body, everybody's body works on one principle. You know what that is? A minimum amount, not of calories, everybody, of nutrition. When you go on a diet, think about it. What do? You reduce the amount of food. I don't care what the diet is. At the end of the day, that's what you're doing. Well, when that happens, what else are you reducing? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there isn't enough nutrition to run the brain, see, all the organs in your body run on nutrition. They don't run on calories. Why are you counting calories? I'm serious. Why? So what the research has proved is when you go on the diet, lower the amount of food, you lower the amount of nutrition, it triggers the starvation in the brain. And what does the brain do? It stops accessing the fuel in your fat cells, which is how we're supposed to do. Now, notice we're not burning the fat cell, we're accessing the stored fuel inside the fat cell. Well, when there's not enough nutrition, the brain stops that, goes in emergency mode, and begins to turn your muscles into fuel. When that happens, your brain slows down your metabolism. That's why, you lose weight. Initially, you're gung-ho on these diets, and then it goes to a crawl, and then you plateau, and then you come off the diet, and you gain everything back. So the research said, wait a minute, what could we do differently? Here's what they did. The researchers, the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, they figured out why diets didn't work. The key was, could they find foods? Could these researchers find foods with higher levels of nutrition and lower amounts of food? So their goal was, could we give you less food but give you more nutrition? That was really the principle they started with. So what they did, they put together a grocery list of, but only 30%, like for example, last month, whatever your total food bill was, imagine only 30% you're going to buy from the grocery store this month because proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits, but they're going to give you serving sizes, okay? You're going to be eating less than what you're used to from a bulk standpoint of view, but you're going to get more nutrition. That was the theory. 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store. Now, here was the key. The other 70% didn't come from these researchers, didn't come from us, came from other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. Okay, so that's what they did. But now what do they have to do? Based on these new food groupings, they had two completely new ways of eating. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods. That was breakfast, meal number 1. Lunch, meal number 2 from the grocery list. Dinner, meal number 3 from the grocery list. And a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. So 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. Got it? 2 days a week, she did something. Now, you're all going to go nuts on me when I tell you this. She did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, they let her eat 8 times a day. What? Yes, she was eating about every hour and a half. Now, why is that so critical? Because the researchers proved that it wasn't just how much you were eating. If you took all the nutrients in a day and ate them at once, it's not effective. You need to spread it out so that your body is constantly being fed with nutrition, but never too little nutrition that would trigger the starvation mode. Well, look at what happened. That is not photoshopped, everyone. That is real. She lost 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise allowed. Look at her stomach on day 1. Look at her stomach on day 30. Now, you can think whatever you think. You think it's photoshopped, we're lying to you, it's AI. This is real. Every picture I've showed you, the before and afters, come from the medical studies, so there's a medical proof to back it up. Now, all of you can go for free. The free medical website we've created for all of you, right above my head, the New Health Conversation. Why would you want to go there? Because the medical proof is there, and an interview, a podcast with the #1 nutritional weight loss research physiologist in the world, and they have no products to sell. Now, why would he do that? Or they would do that? Because they've spent 40 years of their lives trying to find the secret that broke the code on obesity and health. They've done it, and they're now being recognized around the world as cracking the code. You have to understand this protocol called R2M. Any diet you're on now is dead, finished, over. But most of you are going to go back to it. They're not going to work long term. When we're looking right now, Johns Hopkins Medical School says by 2024, in 4.5 years, Not 2024. What am I talking about? 2030. Sorry, everybody, I lost my mind. In 4.5 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese. Does that sound to any of you like diets are working? So let's review one more time. Let's go and take a look at Kristen. So how in the world did she do that? By the way, I haven't had anybody tell me yet, if you were going to lose 20 pounds, assuming you're not on this podcast, how long would you give yourself? Be honest, okay? And then secondly, anybody know the definition of a calorie? So far, no one, at least on this podcast, is intrigued. How much are your diets? Eat. It's not a diet. Get the word out of your mind. No, no, no. It's not my diet. It's not a diet. Okay, it has nothing to do with dieting. It's a totally new way of doing things. And it's not my diet. Now, to give you an idea about the cost, this is what people tell me. Whatever you spent last month on your food, 30% you'd spend this month, and the other 70% pretty much pays for these exotic foods around the world. And even if it's a little bit more, let's say you spend another $50 or $100 a month on these exotic foods, are you telling me you're going to get a result like that? See, that's what you should focus on. Your health. Your health is your wealth. That's the point. But it's not like $1,000 more or any crazy thing like that. It's very affordable. And then you get free coaching. We teach you for free how to do this. At least go to the website, everybody. It's right there, the New Health Conversation. See, we're also, I'm not picking on you, but see, we're still in this diet. Take the T off diet, everybody. Take the T off. Diets are dead, finished. They don't work anymore. Do you understand? You can't possibly think that if we're going to, listen, in 1964, 15% of America was overweight or obese. They're saying in 4.5 years, we're going to be at 86% overweight or obese and 50% pre-diabetic. That's like my God, that's what, a 500, almost 600% increase. You think it's working? You think all these diets are working? Go to the beach. It's summertime. Go to the beach and look at America. It's sad. And I get so emotional about this. My own mother was morbidly obese my whole life, and I loved her. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And she called me up 24 years ago and said, Peter, I have one wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend 24 hours thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom did about every one of these damn diets out there. I didn't know why I didn't know why. Now we know why, and we have the medical proof. They've solved it. Why diets don't work. As a matter of fact, shameless plug for me. I think I've got it here. I have written 4 best-selling books. This first one called Why Diets Are Failing Us came out in 2010, 15 years ago. And what we talked about in this book is now it's in the mainstream finally. Also, some more proof to show you. This is the June 9th issue of Women's World magazine, which is the #1 magazine for women in the world. I coached those 2 women on the cover, the daughter and the mom. The daughter is 57 years old. She's a nurse. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80 years old, lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they've both kept it off for 2 years. Now, this is a news story. It's not an advertisement. You can't buy the cover of Women's World. Look at their title, Over 50 Protein Miracle. That's the magazine saying that, not us. And how did this come about? Then they wrote a huge article about it inside the magazine. And I know for most of you think it's too good to be true, but you got to understand, you don't get a news story. Look, here's the story, everybody. Look at the title. Sorry. Look at the title. New Protein Miracle Diet. New Protein Miracle Diet. What do you think? You think you're on the cover of this? Is this not legitimate? I know the biggest thing you're all struggling with is you can't believe something like this exists. But again, there's 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies proving it's real. How many of you would just like to do that? How about 20 pounds in a month? Please put it in the chat. Yeah, I know the Women's World said that. That's not us. I mean, that's what, because they didn't know what else to call it. I get that. Evita, don't worry about that. It's semantics. All I'm trying to tell you is that a diet in the conventional way that you're thinking about, this is not that. This is a detox. If you wanted to know what is this is a detox. And why can I say that? Because the research did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was assisting the body in removing chemicals from us that we're all storing inside. That's why our stomach is so bloated. Because what we're doing as a world now, we're drinking, breathing, eating all these chemicals. And as they come in the body's first presenting it to the liver. The livers are so overwhelmed it can't handle all the toxins. So then the toxins are stuffed inside the fat cell and the fat cell expands. Look at her contraction, Evita. Look at that on day 1 to day 30. That's with no exercise, no photoshopping. That is real. Or if we look at Julie, look at this. Look at her stomach, 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at that, everyone. What do you think about that? You think that's a diet? I mean, call it whatever you want. Let's call it a weight loss protocol. Maybe that's better, but it's not even a weight loss protocol. It's a detox. The side benefit is this unbelievable weight loss. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a yes, Mick Sick 05, AFI, Fly Narrow. Well, again, Evita, do you like the idea? Evita, if you want to, I don't know if you even want to lose weight. I have no idea. I don't know who you are, so it doesn't matter. But if you wanted to lose 20 pounds, pick any diet you want. How long would you give yourself to lose 20 pounds? By the way, with no exercise. No one was allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Why? Because the researchers didn't want exercise to be an outlier. They didn't want it to be, you'd say, oh, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. Look at this, everyone. This is an older gentleman. You know, when you get older, it's really hard to lose weight when you get older. Really? Tell him that. He lost 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. Look at his stomach. And that's the least important part of his story. Look at it says right there, lab work, before and after. Look at his A1C. It went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides, 242 to 124 in 30 days. And you all have the opportunity, if you choose, to go to the website above my head there in blue, The New Health Conversation. It's 100% free to go there. We will not contact you. Why? Because we want you to see the medical proof on your own without being harassed. We're not here to convince you. We're not here to sell you. We're here to educate you. And if you decide you want to do it, right there, free. The coaching's free, everybody. Free. Please don't put in the chat, how much is the free coaching? People do that. I'm going, no, it's free. I know it sounds good to be true. And the sad part is most of you are going to go back to what you're doing before, despite the fact that you can see the actual medical proof. And there's an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Would you listen to him? I don't want you to believe me. We didn't do the research. We can't take credit for that. We're the researchers of the researchers. But we're bringing you for free the medical proof, and then you can get a free coach. Who wouldn't like that at 568 likes? Come on, everybody. Angie, right there. Angie, give me a yes. Do you see it there, the New Health Conversation? Do you see that, Angie? Helen, 3 weeks. And what diet would that be, Helen? I'm just real curious that you think you could lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks, because that doesn't line up. If that's the case, good. Angie, Judy, okay, yeah. So that website, all of you, is free to go there. I promise, we won't call you if you go there. No, it's free. But if you like what you see, Angie, then you can scroll down and you get a coach and they'll answer all your questions. Because listen, everybody, we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. We have people with kidney transplants. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or make any medical proclamations whatsoever. But what we can do for you, unlike anybody else on social media, you can see the medical proof, for crying out loud. It's there. There's nothing to buy on that site. Okay, I'm going to show it to you right now. Here's the website, everybody. That's no buy button. There's nothing to buy. All of those are including number 3. You actually see the medical studies. You can go and see them. We can't make that up. They're in the public domain. You've got to understand. You can't edit a peer-reviewed human trial study. Why are you following all these people that aren't giving you one shred of medical evidence? I'd love to know that. I really would. I'd love to know how you think that you're able to do that with no walking 30 minutes twice a day, fat-free, lean protein, 8 glasses of water, no sugar, low carbs. Well, then you're a real anomaly and you should congratulate yourself. But the thing you, of course, didn't take into account is you removed no toxins from your body, Helen, 0. There's never been a diet studied. All this stuff they tell you about these detoxes, you can go and Google it, and peer-reviewed human trial studies on these detox programs. As of yesterday, there's not one study showing that any of these detox things have any medical proof. These researchers have 10 studies showing through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis that this is removing toxins from the body. So congratulations on the weight, but the weight doesn't even, we even tell people in this, believe it or not, Helen, the weight loss is the least important part. But again, would you be able to do this? How about that, Helen? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? 60. And look at no loose skin. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body, everybody. That's the daughter of a friend of mine. I know her. So you could think we're going to, I'm not that sinister. I would Photoshop my friend's daughter's picture to, no, because we don't sell anything. We don't have any products. Do you understand? We're researchers. We're bringing this to the world because, my goodness, don't we need a solution? Go to the beach today. If you don't believe, go to the beach. Look at America. It's so, and our kids. We got almost 50% of our kids now overweight. And a third of them are type 2 diabetics or pre-diabetes, which in children 35 years ago, there were no type 2 diabetics in children. There was type 1, of course. What do you think we're doing, everybody? You think it's just a coincidence? Johns Hopkins Medical School, one of the most respected medical schools in the world, is projecting in 4.5 years, 86% of you will be overweight or obese, and a third pre-diabetic. What are we doing? Counting calories, calories in, calories out. I'm still waiting for someone to give me the definition of a calorie. Lisa, MV. Yeah. Remove visceral fat, important. Helen, you removed no visceral fat. Helen, let me give you a medical proof. There's no such thing as burning fat. The amount of visceral fat you were born with is the same amount of visceral fat you're going to die with. You don't have to believe me. Go look it up. That is the biggest myth on planet Earth. However, in these studies, in 8 weeks with no exercise, they reduced the amount of fat, including visceral fat, by 33%. What that means is the fat shrank by 33%. Not one less fat cell was removed. The only way, Helen, you can remove fat from your body is liposuction or through surgery. Go look it up. I'm a scientist. I don't give people opinions. There's plenty of people on social media are all following to give you opinions. So all of you need to understand that. Yeah, Helen, that's absolutely true. So if you're being told you're burning fat through your diet or through exercise, it's total nonsense. I mean, as a matter of fact, to be technically correct, we lose about 10% of fat cells over a year, but they're immediately replaced because those fat cells, they're doing things in our body. They're either good or bad. And visceral fat, just to give you an idea, as it expands, releases chemicals that affect your neurocognitive ability in your brain. There's now big studies saying that, the amount of visceral fat expanded in your body can really can be an underlying cause, for example, for dementia. This is real, everybody. This is not some game that we're playing here. You're following all these influences telling you, nice people, medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and fitness people and weight loss coaches. But why don't they show you any medical proof? And you're all following them. Why? I'd love for someone to put in the chat. Please tell me in the comments why you would do that. Because you don't know what else to do. No one's arguing that any of these diets you lose weight initially. But now let's look at some medical proof. So you're tired of listening to me probably already. But let's look at some medical proof. Let's start with, wait a second, everybody. Let's just start with this whole calorie counting thing, okay? Helen and everybody else. Harvard Medical School, title of the study, Stop Counting Calories. This is Harvard speaking now, not me. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500 and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. They went on to say, the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. They have nothing to do with Harvard. I'm going to read 2 more big studies. They're going to back up I don't make statements. I mean, I make statements, but I'm not giving you opinions. I'm not making a claim. I'm reading from the medical studies. Listen to this one. Why you shouldn't count calories. Everybody listening? Why you shouldn't count calories. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. Our research has looked at, found that while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. They went on to say, counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, two factors that are known to cause weight gain. Weight gain on the diet you're on. Last one. This brand new study from Medicare, everybody. What's Medicare trying to do? Bring down their healthcare costs. So they have no dog in this hunt. Listen to the title of the study, just came out. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. That's Medicare saying that. They go on to say, our researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. Helen, I hope you're able to keep the weight off, but you're really bucking the odds to say that 2/3 of people are gaining more weight. That's Medicare, for crying out loud. See, we don't have to. Now, let me explain to all of you the medical explanation behind why counting calories can't possibly work. Here's what they're saying, the researchers. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. Now, I have more studies. I'm not going to bore you. I don't have enough time to do that. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're counting calories, stop it. Stop it. It's not going to, well, you're going to lose weight initially. You realize you're on a diet to gain weight, 2/3 of you? Does that make you excited? Who's telling you? Who's being honest enough to tell you this? Why are none of those influences you're all following? You're following them. How come they're not showing you any medical proof behind paleo, keto, Mediterranean, showing that it works long term? Because they don't. Because they don't. We're offering you a reprieve. We're offering you a real solution backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, not scientific papers, not a clinical study on mice or rats or chickens or whatever. No. Yeah, I get really animated about this. For all of you, advocating for you, who's going to do it? Who's standing up for you to say, stop the madness, stop the madness? You can't think if 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years, that dieting, what are you doing, everybody? I'd love for you to put it in the chat. Tell me a diet you think works long term. We're not arguing that people like Helen, congratulations, had wonderful success, but we'll see where it is and remove no toxins at all from her body. We're all fighting this medical syndrome. Me included, every one of us have this new medical syndrome called TDOS. What does it stand for? T for toxins, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office of a new medical condition. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, yeah, that's me. I did discover it. What does it mean? It means that we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. And as they enter the body to protect us takes the chemical and stuffs it in our fat cells. And that's why we'll look at the bloating on April here. Look at that. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at how much she shrank. Or when we look at Kristen here, look at this. Look at her stomach day 1, look at her stomach day 30. That's the body getting the chemicals out. See, the fat cells expand or contract. You don't ever burn. Computer under a high load, resolution will adjust, okay, whatever it's saying. Food. Yes, Layla, you're absolutely. Parasites bad, yes, a clean diet is based. Laylee, again, I don't want to argue with you. There's no such thing as a clean diet anymore. If you look at the research, every food that's from North America is all but nutritionally bankrupt. I'll give you an example. Spinach. 1953 to 2000, Cornell University did a study on spinach just to prove. They looked at the iron levels in spinach and say that they have decreased by 4,300%. You take an apple from 30 years ago. You know, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, today you got to eat about 6 or 8 apples. An orange from 30 years ago. Today you got to eat between 4 and 6 oranges. So we're getting these huge quantities of food, thinking we're eating healthy. We're getting this tremendous amount of quantity and very little quality. That's what the researchers figured out, everyone. So Lila, that's it. Let's see what. I'm not buying anything, Lisa G. You'd be buying them from these researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, unlike what we have in this country. We used to have it about 150 years ago, but through over farming and not rotating crops and herbicides and pesticides, the amount of nutrition in a food keeps dwindling. So that whole idea of eating healthy, it's not happening. But it's not, Helen, it's not parasites. I'm talking about Scotchgard and Teflon and flame retardants and pesticides and herbicides that we're storing in our bodies. Whether you know it or not, that's what's going on. I discovered the syndrome. I discovered it. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. It's way more than parasites. And whatever diet you're on doesn't even address it. They did in the studies. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving this was assisting the body in removing chemicals from us. Do you think that's a good idea? No diet has ever touched that. This is not a diet, everybody. The main reason to do this is not weight loss. The main reason to do this is to assist your own body in detoxification. Does that make sense to all of you? What, Lisa? What? Let's see. I want to live in Europe. Their food. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. Good morning. What's the answer? I'm going to say absolutely, Lisa MV. So can we get some more light? Well, listen, everybody, tap on the screen if you like what you're doing. Okay, so now let me walk you all through. Please, all be patient. This isn't a 10-second answer. Okay, it took these researchers who invented this, not me, nothing to do with it. But it took them 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people where they analyzed every diet you could imagine. You know what the conclusion was? Diets are abject failures, because 2/3 of the people that lost weight initially on any diet they researched in 40 years, they all gained back more weight than they lost. So if they lost 20, they gained back 25. What's the fallacy here? Why don't diets work? Again, Medicare, I read it to you just a minute ago. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. This is Medicare saying this. Our researchers looked at long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether these diets were an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. You're actually making yourself unhealthy by going on a diet. I'll explain that to you in just a moment. Why don't diets work? Again, I've been waiting now for how long for someone to give me the definition of a calorie. You're all counting calories. Why? You don't even know what a calorie is. I didn't either 23 years ago. But let's leave that aside once. Why don't diets work? Here's why. There's a minimum amount your body needs, in order to run all your organs, your brain, heart, kidney, liver. Got it? Minimum amount of something. You know what it is? It's not calories. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. It's the most ridiculous thing we've ever come up with. Only thing your body cares about is nutrition. When you go on a diet, think about what you do. You lower the amount of food you're consuming. Well, common sense tells you what else you're lowering. Nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough fuel to go around, it panics, goes in starvation mode, and immediately stops accessing the fuel stored inside your fat cell. Remember, I told you, don't burn fat cells. Fat cells store energy. The fat cell itself doesn't get burned. That's just total nonsense, okay? Once the brain has shut down the fat, accessing the fuel from your fat cells, my God, now what does it do? It needs fuel to run all the organs. And what does it do? It's called catabolic metabolism. Yeah. What does it mean? It means the body's going to start to eat your organs, starting, fortunately or unfortunately, with your muscles. As your body begins to eat the muscles, the brain's directing it to do that to survive. What happens? The brain has to slow down your metabolism. I don't give a damn what you think. So it's not a matter of I'm going to go exercise, ride a bike, and I'm going to boost my metabolism. No, you're not. But the other thing it's doing to you, it's also lowering your own immune system. So these crazy diets you're all on, you're actually making yourself unhealthy. Medicare even said that. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. No, it's the reverse. They're making you unhealthy. What the heck are you doing? What you've been told. So the researchers said, wait a minute. The flaw here was, can we find new food sources based on one principle? More nutrition with less volume. So they were going to give people less food, but give them more nutrition. Well, let's see how that worked. They put together a grocery list. So imagine whatever you spent last month on groceries, you're only going to spend 30% if you do this protocol, at least initially when they start out. And you'll get a list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that the researchers put, not us, we didn't do it. We're not the experts in the world on this. But the key was they didn't give you calorie counts. They gave you serving sizes. So you're going to buy way less food than you used to, but foods they picked with much higher levels of nutrition, which is the only thing your body cares about. I know we eat food because it tastes good, but the reason we eat is because of the nutrition to keep us alive. Now, the other 70% of the food didn't come from North America. Why? Because our food, people come on and tell me, well, I eat healthy and I'm doing organic. Look it up. 200 studies on organic, they proved organic is slightly better than regular food nutritionally. It's less polluted, and that's why I eat it, not because it's that much better nutritionally. So the other 70%, these researchers found, other researchers, let me be clear, there are no products here. This is food. And the researchers who invented this, they don't sell anything. They don't have a company. They're scientists. We don't sell you anything. But the other 70% you can buy directly from these researchers who had gone for 20 years around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of quantity of food. Now, also on this, you get free coaching. So what I'm going to explain to you next, you don't have to remember it all. But now, based on these new food groups, they invented two completely new ways of consuming food. 5 days a week, listen to this, everybody. She ate 4 times a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast, meal number 1. Meal number 2 was from the grocery list. Meal number 3, dinner from the grocery list. Meal number 4, after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. So 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods, meal 1, and meal 4, these exotic foods. She did that 5 days a week. That's called protein pacing. Because one of the things that they learned, or they proved, it wasn't just like if you ate one meal and had all this nutrition, it would work. No, your body can't process it. So they had to spread it out. That's why it's called protein pacing, like pacing yourself in a race. The body works the same way. Then 2 days a week, this will blow all of you away. They did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store. Only these foods from around the world. But this time, she ate, ready for this, everyone? 8 times a day. She was literally eating every hour and a half. Do you know on this, no one was hungry? No. We have people who weighed 500 pounds. They weren't hungry. Now, on those days, on the 48-hour intermittent nutritional fasting days, very small quantities of food, but huge amounts of nutrition from these sources from around the world that you can't go to your local grocery store and buy. It doesn't exist. And that's 30 days. That's not a fake. Look at her stomach, everybody. Who would tell me, be honest with how any of you, if you could lose 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month and detox your body and feel great and have energy and not be hungry, in a month's time, they proved people's hunger went down 41% in a month. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all went down in a month. But here's the big one that we all suffer from. Inflammation, the first time ever in any study of any diet ever, it came down 25% in a month. This is not a diet, everyone. If you think it's a diet, you're wrong. You're on the wrong podcast. Please don't use the word diet around me. For me, it's like a swear word. They don't work. Take the T off diet, everybody. Take the T off. Do you understand that you're deprived? When you go on a diet in a conventional mean by counting calories, what are you doing? It's about deprivation. Yes, you're eating less food, but why aren't they telling you you're getting less nutrition? Well, imagine if you could eat less and have more nutrition, do you think it would work? Boom, there it is. Kelly, that was the protocol. I explained it. Then how do you get access to non-poison foods in the U.S.? Tap, 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 and share live. We just got 20 more peeps in here. Great, Lisa. Let's see. I have high inflammation and my weight can't come off. Layla, you're proving my point. Listen, everyone, I want to address all your questions. So, Kelly, did you hear me explain the protocol? If you didn't, I'll do it again. Just put it in the chat. So, yeah, the sources that are used, the researchers did this. We don't have to worry. They went and looked at the foods that they their reputations on, and they don't sell anything. So it's not like they recommended things and they got financially compensated. Do you understand? They went and looked at there are what are called assay tests. There are ways you can analyze the food. How much are there herbicides, pesticides, toxins in the food itself that they picked from the United States? But remember, only 30% of the foods you consume came from the United States. A small 70% from these foods around the world where they don't use herbicides and pesticides and all this other stuff. That's what makes it so unique, everybody. But so I hope I answered that. I have high inflammation. My weight can't come off. Do you understand now, Layla, why? Your body's holding on for dear life. You're storing. Have you been on diets before and you did lose weight? You've slowed down your metabolism then. But you didn't do anything on any of these diets to remove chemicals from your body. Does everyone understand that? So, again, let's take a look at, here's another big study. Title, listen, everybody, why the science behind why diets don't work. None of what I've shared with you this morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Listen to this conclusion from this one big study. Our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies, calories in, calories out, showing that these diets actually causes weight gain. The more diets someone had tried, the more they weigh. I'll explain that to you in a moment. So not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. Now, why the more diets you go on, the more weight you end up weighing? Because every diet, up to 40% of what you lost was lean muscle mass. And we know based on the studies that the weight you're gaining back is the accumulation of water inside the fat cells as they expand again. So now what's happened? You have less lean muscle. So you start on the next diet, you already have less muscle mass. So that's why you actually end up gaining weight on all these diets over and over again. It's not some sales gimmick. It's science. We're researchers. We don't sell it. We don't have any products. So, hello? Yeah, I have written 4 best-selling books. There's no, as a matter of fact, let me show you the website, everybody, so you know. There's nothing on the website except the medical proof. Let me show it to you all. There's the website, everybody. There's no buy buttons. There's no books on there. One is an exclusive interview podcast with the #1 nutritional weight loss physiologist in the world. He tells you they're the number one researchers in the world. They'll never recommend a traditional diet to anybody ever again. He said it would be unethical. Why would they have you go on a diet for 8 weeks to lose up to 40% of your lean muscle mass when you can produce a result in a week that would equal that? And in a month, instead of people losing any lean muscle, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle, and no one was allowed to exercise. You're going to try and tell me there's any diet? I don't want to use the D word. Let's just call it the D word. This isn't a D. This is totally different. So what should we eat to lose weight and gain muscle? Joey Garcia, you didn't hear the whole explanation. I'm going to go over it one more time now. How did she lose all that weight in that period of time? The researchers proved, Joey, that counting calories was the most ridiculous thing anybody had ever tried, and here's why. The body has no idea what a calorie even is. The only thing your body cares about, you have a minimum amount of nutrition that you need for your body, for your organs to work. When you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming. What else? You're lowering nutrition. So the researchers, they figured out foods, 30% of what you would consume, Joey, would come from your grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. You'd actually get not just the name of the protein or the carb, whatever, but the serving size, not calories, the serving size. You got that? But the other 70%, here's what made this so different. The other 70% came from foods from other researchers, because the people who invented this, they don't have any products, they don't have a company. So you'd buy directly from those suppliers who'd gone to Russia, to Mongolia, to Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but very small amounts of food by quantity, okay? So that's the foods they were going to eat. But now, how did they eat them? That was key. Let's call it the recipe. So 5 days a week, Joey, you'd actually have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods from around the world, nothing from the grocery store, nothing, zero. That's breakfast, these exotic foods. Lunch, meal number 2 from the grocery store list. Meal number 3, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, the exotic foods. So 5 days a week, Joey and everybody else, you're having 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. Because the other thing they proved, it was critically important, not just how much you ate and not even when you ate, but what was the timing? When were you eating? And so they spread it out over about 8 or 10 hours, and that's part of the result. Then 2 days a week, here's what's really cool. They invented something new called intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting. On those days, absolutely no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, she got to eat 8 times a day. No food from the grocery store. Nobody was hungry. We had people weigh 500 pounds. They did this. They weren't hungry because it's not a fast. It's not water fast. It's not time restricted eating. It's nothing. It's fasting with nutrition from the sense you have very small quantities of food, so very little digestion is involved, but huge amounts of nutrition. And there are the results. Now, Joey, let me show you a result. Look at this. This is an older gentleman. Joey, how excited would you be about that? 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. And Joey, the least important part of his story, look at his lab work, everybody. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides for 242, they dropped to 124. That's in 30 days. Now, look at my friend's daughter, everybody. 60 pounds, I know her. We didn't Photoshop that. 60 pounds in 3 months? What do you all think? Is it a different woman? Do you think we lied? Are we lying to you? Do we substitute the women? See, we don't have to lie. This is the cover of Women's World magazine. It just came out June 9th. I coached both of these women. The daughter, a nurse, 57 years old, she lost 50 pounds in 3 months, almost as much as this one lost. And the mom is 80. She lost 90 pounds in 9 months. They both kept it off for 2 years. So this is not that unusual, 60 pounds in 3 months. Right on the cover of the magazine, 50 pounds in 3 months. Now, you have to understand, this is the #1 women's magazine in the world. And look what they said, over 50 protein miracle. Because it is. I mean, can you imagine you're going to lose as much weight in a week as in 2 weeks of any diet you've ever been on, and it's healthy, and you're going to gain lean muscle mass with no exercise? Whoa, that doesn't sound right. That's not possible. Well, wait a minute. We have 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies proving it's right, proving it's real, published in the biggest medical journals in the world. Not our research, by the way. Does this make sense to everybody? I live on a small island. We are limited. What island, Lisa? What country and what island? I'll tell you whether or not they... Yeah, Layla, and that's what's in this, the right vitamins, nutrients, minerals, for example. Oh, yeah, absolutely, you can get it. No problem whatsoever, Lisa. Oh, my God. I'm from Maine, actually, Lisa. I'm from Old Orchard Beach, Maine, if you know where that is. So we're neighbors. I live in Denver now, but I grew up in Maine a long time ago. Been to Martha's Vineyard many times. Beautiful, beautiful place. Okay, how much does it cost? Here's the best way to explain it to you. Take last month, whatever you spent on food, total amount. 30% of that, we're only going to spend 30% this month in the grocery store. The other 70% for most people pays for these exotic foods around the world. At the worst case scenario, maybe $100 more than what you spent last month, because you're only buying 30% of the food you bought last month from your grocery store, only 30%. So you got 70% of that budget goes towards those foods. But again, look at the results. Lila, how do we get started? Yes, my son is in Livermore. Oh, wonderful, Lisa. Again, see, they keep asking me, what's the product? There's no product. It's food, everybody, and a new way of doing things. So Lila and everybody else, let me show you. Here's how you get started if you want. First of all, everybody can go to that website I have above my head in blue, the new Health Conversation. What's there? Just the medical proof. Right above it in blue, it says free coaching to ensure your success. We will not contact you if you go to that website. I want everybody to understand. Go to the website. Take a look at the medical evidence. If you like what you see, scroll down. It says free coaching. Oh, one thing I didn't even tell you. Who was asking me about the cost? Oh, Lila, how do we get started? There's no product. Let's see. Thank you, Peter. This is wonderful. Good. Listen to this, everybody. The 70%, Lisa, that you would buy from the suppliers, they give you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days if it doesn't work. Nothing. We don't sell you anything. It says right on the website, 100% money back guarantee. Well, not the 30% you're buying from the grocery store, but that's a tiny amount of what you're spending compared to the 70% you're spending. Listen, everybody, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to prove to you from a medical perspective that whatever diet you're on now is going to fail. So who else would like to ask me a question that doesn't understand quite what we did? Jeremy Colson, hello. And Chloe, there's no product. It's food. I'm going to explain it in a minute. So who else would like to ask me a question, or just you simply want me to explain to you how in the world did she lose 21 pounds, 38 inches a month with no exercise allowed? Part of these huge medical studies. Or let's look at Julie real quick, everybody. Look at this, everybody. 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at the change in her body composition. That's not Photoshop. That is real with no exercise. And then Curtis, an older gentleman, 40.8 pounds, 52 inches in a month. Look at his medical numbers, A1C 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. And then the last one, the daughter of a friend of mine, now you're going to think it's a different woman, 60 pounds in 3 months. 60 pounds in 3 months. How's that look? Pretty good? Now, let's come back and let's talk about what did they do. Everyone understand, it's not a diet. It has nothing to do with dieting. It has nothing to do with counting calories. The researchers who invented this had done 40 years of studies, 100 studies, thousands of people on every diet out there, calories in, calories out, because that's what all these diets are based on, right? Well, after the 40 years, they came to one conclusion. The diets are miserable failures. As 2/3 of the people that went on any of the diets they put people on, they gained more weight than they lost. So let's just start with that. Excuse me. So what happened is they said, we've got to try something new. See, when you go on a diet, it has nothing to do with counting calories. So if you think that you're hungry for calories, you're wrong. Your human body has no idea what a calorie even is. And obviously most of you don't, because no one's ever been able to give me the definition of a calorie on this call. I didn't know what a calorie was 23 years ago before I started, okay? So don't feel bad. But here we are all counting calories and no one even knows what a calorie is. I wouldn't say no one. I've had 5 people in a year get the medical definition of a calorie. That's immaterial right now. So what does your body run on if it doesn't run on calories? Aha, it runs on a minimum amount of nutrition. When you go on a diet, which this is not a diet, okay? But you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming. What else you're reducing? Nutrition. When that happens, the brain triggers a reaction that's called catabolic metabolism. In English, the body begins to eat its organs for fuel, starting with your muscles. As your body stops the access to the fuel stored in your fat cell, it shuts that down because you're in starvation mode. The brain then turns to your muscles and doesn't have a choice. Then, as you begin to lose lean muscle, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you all know you lose weight initially, and then all of a sudden it slows down to a trickle, then you plateau, then no matter what you do, you can't lose any more weight, you're stuck, as you all tell us, and then you come off the diet, you gain back more weight than you lost, and then you go look for the new diet. So the researchers said here was the difference. They were going to pick foods, they on purpose were going to go find foods with much higher levels of nutrition and lower amounts of food. So still the principle was, can we give you less food, but can we increase nutrition? Because the body doesn't care about the food, it cares about the nutrition. So they put together a grocery list that you all would get, not a product. The researchers don't sell anything. They don't have a company. They're scientists. They put together a list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you calorie counts, they gave you serving sizes. That's how they knew that only 30% of what you were going to consume would come from your grocery store, from the list that you get for free. The list is free. The other 70% you don't buy from us, you don't buy from the researchers, but the researchers found other researchers that for 20 some years had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition or nutrients or nutrition that doesn't exist in North America, just doesn't exist. I'll give you 2 examples. 2 of the nutrients, one comes from Mongolia, that massively lowers stress in your body. That nutrient is not available in the United States, not in North America or Canada soil. The other one comes from the Himalayas that massively lowers inflammation, which we have the medical proof inflammation came down 25% in 30 days. Got it, everybody? So now they had the foods, right? 30% from the grocery store, you'd have that list, and 70% from these exotic foods around the world that the coaches show you how to buy directly from the suppliers. That's what makes it affordable. Because people always say, oh my God, this has to be really expensive if foods are coming from Russia and Tibet. No, you're probably going to spend about what you spent last month total on food. Now, then they invented how they were going to consume the food. Well, this will blow your mind. They created 2 new ways of consuming food. 5 days a week, they did something called protein pacing. What the heck is that? She was having 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast. Meal number 1. Meal number 2, from lunch, from the grocery list. Meal number 3, dinner from the grocery list. And the 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. Now, why was this so important? Because the researchers proved that when you ate food in certain amounts, if you spread it out, it was way more effective than having like 1 big meal or 2 big meals, okay? So basically, she was eating in about a 3-hour window, okay, like 4 times, so over about 12 hours. 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent, and it's going to spin all of you out of control. Intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world, but this time they let her eat 8 times a day. What? Yeah. She was fasting with nutrition. So she was eating about every hour and a half. Nobody was hungry. There were no insulin spikes for the diabetics. As a matter of fact, in a month, they proved people's hunger went down. Are you ready for this, everyone? 41%. Cravings pretty much went away in like 10 days because the body was getting what it needed, not from the bulk, not from the amount of food, but from the amount of nutrition. And the fact it was spread out, the pacing of the nutrition was everything. And you'd learn all this. As a matter of fact, you would get, if you did it, this is what the researchers put together for their patients. This is called the Blueprint for Success. Each one of these yellows here is a video explaining exactly what to do on that day, why it's from the researchers. And they don't sell anything. They don't have any profit mode. Why would they do this? Because they wanted you to be in a position to do it exactly. They spent 40 years of their lives trying to come up with this solution for mankind. They have it. And now you know about it. The reason that we offer you free coaching is you've never done anything like this before. So it's not just, oh, here's a list and you're on your own. No, the coaches have done it themselves. We got coached. And we're here to help as many people as we can. Now, you can either take it, here's what you can take advantage of if you want. The website right above my head in blue, you can see it in darker blue, the new health conversation. It's a free medical website right above it. If you like what you see, because we won't contact you if you go there. So don't think you're going to go there and you're going to get harassed and get a phone call or a text. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. You get to choose. We put you in control. If you want to find out and see with your own eyes the medical proof, that's what's there. Once you've done that, we believe you're going to be convinced. Then you scroll down, you get a free coach. Also, as I was mentioning before, 70% of the food that you would purchase from these researchers, they give you a 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days if it doesn't work. Now, nothing's 100%, of course, but it's so rare. You think Kristen wants a refund after losing 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month? She actually went on to lose about 35 pounds in about 7 weeks, just to let all of you know. And then you saw Julie, she actually did that. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days. But look at the change in her body, everybody. You think that's Photoshopped? We don't have to lie. We don't have to make things up. We're the only ones on all social media that we can find with peer-reviewed human trial studies. These people come on and they want to argue with me and tell me about they've got peer-reviewed studies at PubMed. Then you go and look and there's no such thing. I mean, it's just people give me opinions. I've done this for 23 years. But I'll be honest with you, for 22 of my 23 years in the medical world, all this evidence, there were no peer-reviewed human trial studies. So what did the medical world say about everything I was talking about? Zero interest, zero. Why? Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Do you all understand the significance of a peer-reviewed human trial medical study? You hear the term bandied around, scientific study, clinical study. Those don't count unless it's done with human beings and vetted, in other words, analyzed. Peer review means I have an example here. This is the #1 medical journal in the world called Nature Communications. This study on this protocol had nothing to do with weight loss. Let me read the title of the study. The gut microbiome remodeling. That's your gut, basically your immune system inside your gut, right? And metabolic profile improves drastically in response to protein pacing and intermittent nutritional fasting compared to any form of calorie-restricted diet. This had nothing to do with the weight loss. It had to do with the massive improvement in people's gut health. I mean, like I keep saying, the main reason to do this is not to lose the weight. That's a result of this. Also, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was removing chemicals from the body. That's why, for example, that's why our stomach went down. Because our body, when the chemical's in the body stuffs it in the fat cell and the fat cell expands. See, there are people coming on telling me that they're burning fat on a diet or exercise. No, you're not. You're born with a certain number of fat cells and you die with a certain number of fat cells. It's that simple. It's not like, no, that's not happening. No, that's what happens. But you don't lose fat cells. They can shrink or expand. Well, you see on day one, that's the results of those chemicals. Most of you complain to us, the amount of weight you have, it's the amount of fat you have in your body. We're literally evolving as a species to store these chemicals inside of our fat cells because the immune system can't handle it. The body doesn't know what else to do with it. Look at our kids. Look at the amount of fat on our kids. This is a disaster. I mean, Johns Hopkins Medical School. I mean, they're like, it's insane what we're doing to ourselves and our kids because of all here it is. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. What diet do you think you're, listen, I understand what I'm up against. I'm up against the whole damn internet. I'm up against the whole darn, social media stuff. But I'll tell you this, I'm proud to say we're the only ones with peer-reviewed human trial studies, not one or two or three, but 10. 10. Not done by us. We're the researchers of the researchers. But look at this, everybody. Yes, absolutely, Andy. Can children, teens follow us? Andy, you weren't on. We have kids as young as 2 doing this. 2. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with kidney transplants. We have people with no gallbladders of all ages, groups, whatever. Part of the reason we offer to everybody, just so you see, a free to go to the website, because that's all, you can see it there, the new health conversation. The only thing there is the medical proof. There's nothing there other than the medical proof. And if you go there and like what you see, then you get, no, Lisa, sorry, that's not quite right. I need the actual, I'm a stickler, Lisa, sorry, I'm a researcher, so it has to be the exact, precise medical definition. So it's a measure of fuel. You're close. You're in the right zip code, but that's not quite it, Lisa. So you need to go do a little bit more. Okay, let's see. Can we find these exotic funds? No, you can't. You have to buy them from the suppliers who supplied them to the studies. Plus, it's not. And you said exotic funds. I think you meant exotic foods. That's okay. I'm not gonna. I make plenty of spelling errors myself, right? Oh, wonderful. Layla signed up for a free consultation. Andy, fantastic. Andy, thank you. Andy, do yourself a favor. Go to that website right there, the New Health Conversation, and I'm going to show it to all of you right now. There's nothing to buy on that site, but I'll tell you what is on there. Number one is a podcast, Andy, with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He and his team invented this. And they said in the interview, they'll never recommend any form of traditional diet to anybody ever again after 40 years, 100 studies. This is the answer they were looking for, and they have, Andy, they've got 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies proving that it works. There's no one else on social media with one. I've never seen one. Can someone tell me someone you're following? I'd like to know. I mean, I can be wrong. I'm not perfect. Oh my God, no, I'm not, nowhere near perfect. But show me someone that has any peer-reviewed human trial studies. I mean, I see people, they want to sell you recipes. Really? Recipes? What good is that going to do you? We've been doing recipes for 100 years and we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger every single year. It's not about the recipe. They never even talk about the most important thing to the human body is not a calorie. It's nutrition. So Chloe, again, you can go to that website for free, see the medical proof, and then get a coach. The coaching's totally free. They'll show you the food list you buy at the grocery store and show you how to buy directly from those suppliers. And then they coach you for free, Chloe. You've never done this before. How you do it is probably more critical than what you're going to be eating, believe it or not. Does that make sense? Chloe, did you get a chance to hear me explain exactly how did she do that? What foods did she consume? How did she consume them? When did she consume it? All of that made a difference. It's not a diet. It has nothing to do with dieting, okay? Oh, you did hear me. Okay, Chloe, great. I don't know if it was great or not, but maybe you didn't like it. Wow, we got 7,000 likes, so somebody must like this material. Come on, everybody, I'm live. I want to interact with you. Please ask me questions. This is for all of you. Look, this website took over. There's nothing on there to buy. Yes, I've written 4 best-selling books. I have them right here in my hands. There's no books on there, but also for Chloe and everybody else and Layla. Let's see, medical school around the world does not teach you exactly, Layla. Well, you've signed up Layla, tell everybody, you went to the website, you signed up for a consultation. Did we contact you? Was there anything to buy on that website? Please let the people know. Let them know. Did you get did we in any way interact with you other than you interacting with us? Please tell everybody. And Chloe and everybody else, look, this is on the cover of Women's World, June 9th issue, just 7 days ago. The number one women's magazine in the world. They're calling it the over 50 protein miracle. You don't get on the cover. It's a news story. It's not an advertisement. And then they wrote an incredible, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Oh, I've got it right here, I believe. Look, everybody, a 2-page article, new protein miracle diet. They're calling it a diet. It's not really a diet, but that's okay. And the two women on the cover, the daughter, a nurse, 57 years old, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom is 80 years old. She lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off for 2 years. I coached them. I know them. They're my friends now. So it wasn't a question, did they lose the weight? They've now kept it off for more than 2 years. Heck, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Doesn't that interest you? And my gosh, all of you get to go for free. You can go for free. Look at Layla's saying, nothing to buy. I just signed up for a consultation to get information on food vendors to get started. Perfect. Perfect. All of you can go to that website, right? You can see it there right above my head. The New Health Conversation. It's free to go there. There's nothing to buy there. We're not going to contact you. It's 100% free for you to go there. Because Layla just said she went there. There's nothing to buy. She signed up for a consultation. No one contacted her. She contacted us. I understand all this seems too good to be true to all of you, but I just look at my friend's daughter and think, what a difference. She's a young woman. What a difference in her life to lose 60 pounds in 3 months, 8 years ago. She's kept it off for 8 years. How much better do you think she feels energy-wise, sleeping better at night, all those things that we all want? Don't we really want the best quality of life we can get? See, right now, you don't understand. You don't understand how bad you actually feel, as good as you think you feel, because you don't understand how good you could feel. Because you're storing chemicals in your body. Do you all understand that? Did you all see the thing from 5 weeks ago? They're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. Guess what else they're finding inside of us? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon and flame retardants. Heck, I discovered the medical syndrome. It's right here, called the TDOS syndrome. T for toxins, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. Yeah, Peter Greenlaw, I discovered it. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. They recognize it as a new medical. Every one of you have it. And what are you doing about removing chemicals from your body? Now, lest you believe me, oh yeah, these chemicals, okay. Well, I'm going to close out with bringing you up to speed on the latest research on the chemicals that we didn't know we were storing chemicals in our body until 2005, Mount Sinai Medical School in New York. 20 years ago. Now there have been more than 1,000 studies. So listen now to something, one of the other underlying reasons why so many people are overweight and they can't lose weight and they're exhausted and they're tired and they're stressed out and they can't sleep at night. Let me read to you from the latest research after 20 years on chemicals. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to the research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. These chemicals have a name. They're called obesogens. They go on to say, simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our bodies from a variety of sources, from natural compounds in soy, artificial hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed on our produce. They act in a variety of ways mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, are you listening, ladies, and menopause, blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. What are you all doing about obesogens? What diet are you on now that's removing chemicals from your body? None. This is, and I don't just say that, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this protocol, no other one has any medical proof behind it, was helping the body remove these chemicals. I had someone yesterday challenging me. You don't know what you're talking about. In PubMed, there's all kinds of peer-reviewed human trial studies on detox and these other programs. Well, I went there. As of June 15th, which was yesterday, there's not one peer-reviewed human trial study. It's just fabrication. It's someone's opinion. I think it's time to stop listening to people's opinions, especially when it comes to your health and weight loss. I hope that this podcast and what we're doing will help to educate you, make you aware of what's possible. We're not here to convince you, and we're not sure as heck not going to sell you. Otherwise, we'd have some gimmick when you went to the website, then we'd be harassing you. Well, what do you think? Oh, do you want to order? We don't sell anything. We don't have any products. There's no products involved. This is food and completely new ways of consuming food. It's all a natural approach. No appetite suppressants. No pills, lotion. No. None of that nonsense. The thing that I think is amazing is why wouldn't you all just go to the website and look at the medical proof? And if you like, then you can get a free coach, right? So who else is telling me? I mean, you buy the high value food, it's not a problem. Yes, exactly. What do you think of lymphatic draining? Well, first of all, one of the things with your lymphatic draining, Layla, if you're doing that, one of the best things you can possibly do, the two things. Number one is walking. Walking is about the best exercise because it does stimulate the lymphatics don't have they don't have muscles. It's really based on the movement of your body. The other thing with lymphatic, if you have one of those small little trampolines, if you jump on that, it really increases the lymphatics, okay, just to let you know. But the lymphatics are not dealing with these toxins because the lymphatic, it can't deal with it because the body's taking that chemical and the toxins, they're called, what's it called? I'll think of it in a minute. They love fat, okay? That's what they do. So they embed themselves inside your visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs, the dangerous fat in our body. And that lipophilic or lipophilic, yeah, that's what it's called, means love of fat, okay? So that's where the chemicals are stored. The lymphatic doesn't touch these chemicals. We know because they've done the studies. And this group, this group of researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved the main reason to do this, the main reason, Layla, is to detox your body. Oh, and by the way, Layla, can you imagine you're going to lose a whole dress size in the first week with no exercise? Now, if you want to exercise, that's great. No, we're not against exercise. The research on against exercise. But for purposes of this, they had to eliminate exercise. Otherwise, you'd say, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. No one was allowed to exercise. They actually wear Fitbits. So when you look at Kristen here, no exercise whatsoever. I think one of the things that's most impressive, look at day 1, day 30, look at her stomach area. See, those were the chemicals in the fat cells expanding. Don't let anybody tell you that you burn fat on a diet or by running or working out. That's just a total lie. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and they expand or contract. Nothing more, nothing less, that's it. Does that make sense, everybody? Do you all get this? People are telling you that you burn fat on these diets and you burn fat by going to the gym. It's a lie. It's not true. I only go on medical facts. That's why they call me the researcher of the researchers. It's not I take that back. I did do the research on the TDOS syndrome and was the canary in the coal mine more than 20 years ago, screaming and saying, wait a minute, we're storing these chemicals in our body? How can that be a good thing? Well, we didn't have any proof until 2005. I was just, but now we have the proof. You're all storing, if you're an adult, you have about 1,000 chemicals embedded in your viscera. Hell, they showed us, a month ago, 5 weeks ago, a study came out saying they're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. Are you just all ignoring that? And you're doing keto or paleo or Mediterranean or time-restricted eating or the Cornish or whatever. There's never been one of those diets showing that it removed a gram, anything, a minuscule part of toxins from the body until now. There's 10 peer-reviewed studies showing this is just because it's the body that's going to detox you. There's no product you can take that would detox you, and this is not a product. It's your body doing it. See, last night when you all slept, whether you know it or not, as long as you didn't eat too late, once you went to sleep, your body slows down your digestion, and automatically, without us doing a thing, detoxes. It's called autophagy, fancy word for getting rid of the dead cells and the debris. And it takes tremendous amounts of energy. That's one of the examples, like this intermittent fasting, which is a total hoax, where you don't eat from 8 o'clock at night until noon the next day. Well, the problem is in your sleep cycle, you're using tremendous amounts of fuel to cause the body to detox. When you wake up in the morning, you're totally depleted. So what does your body do? Well, you're not going to feed it until noon, but it needs fuel to work. So what does your brain do? It starts to convert your muscles into fuel. It's not up for debate. I mean, the big study over here that's done on this, maybe some of you are doing this time-restricted eating where you don't eat for 16 hours and 8. They call it intermittent fasting. But listen to this. This is the Journal of the American Medical Association, a 3-month study. They said, the Journal of the American Medical Association, new research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily, it's called time-restricted eating, over 3 months, gained almost no benefit from it, lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. That's what you're doing. You're making yourself unhealthy by going on time-restricted eating. This is intermittent nutritional fasting. This is fasting with nutrition, but it's not, you're eating over a window of 10 to 12 hours over the course of a day, because the research has proved that by spacing out your nutrition, that was the most effective way for you to be able to lose weight, maintain weight, whatever you want to call it. It's just science, everybody. This is not hype. This is not an infomercial. This is medical research, medical proof. After 40 years of research and 100 studies by the top people in the world, maybe you want to pay attention to that. And you can see all of it for free at the website. Above my head in blue, the new health conversation. You can go there for free. Free. Go for free and see the proof. Then, if you like what you see right above free coaching. You get coached for free the whole time. The whole time. Why wouldn't you do that? No, it's easier to follow a influencer that's going to sell you an app with some diets, recipes. Are you kidding me? With medical proof saying that time-restricted eating doesn't work, that most of what you lose on those is lean muscle mass, not fat. Well, of course, you don't lose fat anyway. I mean, it's just so crazy that we're in this position where we're listening to all this nonsense, all this hot air. So who else? What do you think of cleansing for parasites? When many other countries do it, we are infested. Number one, the only parasites on this that we've got medical proof of, it does kill off candida, which about 90% of anybody that's overweight has. It depends on the severity of the parasite. There are really good parasite cleanses out there, but in general, people that are overweight all have candida. And so you all understand this will be a little gross for you. It's not just the little critters that are there, but they also lay eggs. And we have proof that this kills off the candida and the eggs at the same time. Now, if you have a more robust infiltration of parasites, then those other parasite cleanses are probably appropriate. You'd want to check with your health professional on anything like that. We're not giving out medical advice. We're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical proclamations whatsoever. We're very careful to stay within the guidelines because we don't have to go outside the guidelines because we're the only people in the world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. So why would we jeopardize that by, giving you an opinion on something that we don't have any proof for? Does that make sense? Tremendous for people with menopause. Tremendous. Oh my God. Layla, I told you, we have women with no thyroids that had thyroid cancer, had their thyroids removed. We have one young woman in Florida. I'm not going to tell you because you won't believe it anyway, but we have lots of people, like they've had their gallbladders removed and they've had amazing results. But imagine no thyroid and still being able to lose weight. That's incredible. Candida, okay, well, you can call it whatever you want, but you don't want candida in your body, and they do lay eggs, and this does kill candida. So I'm doing a parasite cleanse, but I do believe I'm dealing with severe inflammation. Okay, well, then there you go, because the parasites obviously would be contributing to inflammation. But Layla, we have proof. Go look at the studies. Inflammation came down 25% in 30 days. No diet, no nutrition, no exercise program ever shown to reduce inflammation. So you're in for a real treat. That's why I keep saying this is so much more than a weight loss, right? Who else would like to ask me a question? Let's see, where are we in time-wise? Okay, I've got about 5 more minutes, everybody. And then just to let you know, I'll probably come on live again around 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's 10:30 Central. That's 9:30 Mountain, 8:30 Pacific. And in England, like right now, in England, it's 12... It's around 3, almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So figure in about 2 hours your time. So around 6:37 England time, I'll be back on if you want to come on. Invite your friends. This website, look, the website is free to the world. You don't have to be on my podcast to go to the website, The New Health Conversation. Turn your friends on. Turn everybody on about it. Why wouldn't you? And you get free coaching. What am I missing here? Why wouldn't you go there? Why wouldn't every person on here go there? Right? I was doing the hyperketosis diet and I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. What are your thoughts about that? You're going to gain it all back. It's based on the wrong principles again. It's based on degradation, on deprivation. You don't have, and there's no proof that it does anything to remove toxins from your body. I mean, look at this. So you did that 15 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm not surprised, but it's not this. It's not even in the same zip code. I mean, we got people like, here's what matters. Hold on just a second. See, the long term, I mean, in her case, she had a lot of weight to lose, but 60 pounds in 3 months, consistently 5 pounds a week. I'm just curious as to if you're able to keep the weight off or not. Oh, wow, I'm so interested in learning more. Okay, I believe you. Great, Marcella. So, but Marcella, I want you to, I will be going straight to the website. Okay, everybody, look. All right, everybody. Oops, I clicked the wrong poster. Okay. So for all of you, Marciela, do you see the website above my head? Give me a yes, any of you. The New Health Conversation. That's a free medical website. You go there, all the medical proofs there, and if you like what you see, scroll down and you can sign up for a free consultation with one of our coaches. The coaching is 100% free the whole time. They'll show you the grocery list of what you buy from the grocery store. They'll show you how to buy directly from these exotic foods around the world, and then they'll coach you the whole time for free. By the way, By the way, the 70% of what you'd spend on food in a month, those suppliers who went to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, they'll give you 100% money back guarantee. If you go to the website, you'll see 100% money back guarantee. That's what it means. Not from us, because you didn't buy anything from us, but you bought from them. So 30%, that's the deal with it, because you're buying a month's worth of food to get started. That's what it boils down to, a month. You're buying food. There's no products here. No lotions, potions, pills. No. It's food. But it's very, very specific. And you'll learn that when you go to the website, and then our coaches will fill in any of the blanks for you and show you, if you want to, how to get started, and then they'll coach you for free. How good does that sound? No. Well, there's nothing to buy on the website right now, so don't. Andy. Oh, Andy, let me give you okay, I got to do this in closing, everybody. Here's a big study in the New England Journal of Medicine. Andy, you can go look it up. The New England Journal of Medicine, semaglutide, one of the GLP-1s, not Mounjaro, but another. So listen to this, Andy, and let's contrast that with Kristen. This was a 68-week study, Andy, so a year and 4 months. You got it? The weight loss after 68 weeks, this is New England Journal of Medicine, was 32 pounds, and 40% of the 32 pounds was lean muscle mass. And they said this is clinically relevant reductions in body weight. 32 pounds in 68 weeks. I don't think she got the memo. Do you, Andy? 21 pounds in a month. Or wait a minute, what about Curtis? He didn't get the memo. He lost 40 pounds in a month. Andy, which one would you choose? I know I'm being silly, but it's not silly. It's really serious. But again, Andy, the one thing that I can promise you is you're going to go see that medical proof is right there for you for free at the New Health Conversation, and then sign up for. You don't have to sign up for anything. I mean, get a coach if you like what you see, because we're not there to convince you. Yeah, I know it sounds amazing. So Marcella, do you understand? Give me a yes if you see the website above my head in blue, the New Health Conversation. Do you see that, Marcella? And I hope I'm pronouncing your name wrong. If I'm not, I hate doing that. So I'm not being disrespectful. I'm doing the best I can. That's what it sounds like. Marcella, I've never heard that name before. That's very, very unusual. So Andy, you got it also? You understand that? Everybody see that? Lisa, thank you. Right above my head, the New Health Conversation. Everybody sees that? All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to end this live right now. And like I said, I'm going to do another one around 11:30 Eastern Standard Time today. Invite your friends to come to the seminar. Also, hopefully you'd go to my TikTok. It's at the New Health Conversation, and because we really want to build a worldwide army of people that are involved in this. Does everyone agree? Do you think we need the New Health Conversation? Is the old one working for us? With projections in 4.5 years, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese. You think we need the New Health Conversation? I mean, I'm prejudiced. I invented it, but I think it's a movement, everybody. It's a movement of like-minded people that are sick and tired of being disappointed, heartbroken, or flat out lied to about these diets that don't work. So, Marcel, you're going to spend about, if you took whatever you spent last month total, that's about what you're going to spend, maybe $100 more, maybe. But again, look at the results, right? So it's not like it's $1,000 more or any crazy thing like that. It's very affordable. Because keep in mind, 30% of the food you're buying from your grocery store, the other 70% you're buying directly from those suppliers, not from us. We don't sell anything. So that keeps the cost down because there's no middleman. So it obviously depends on what what you do spend in a month. But I'd say in most cases, the most people have told me maybe they spend $100 more than what they spent last month because you're getting so much less regular food, only 30%. That's it. You're only going to spend 30% of what you did last month. The other 70% goes towards those exotic foods from around the world. Marcel, does that make sense? Andy, absolutely need it. Okay, it's worth it. Yeah. All right, everybody, I have to go. I'm sorry. I've got an appointment. To be honest with you, I'm going to the gym to work out with my trainer. See? We said they weren't allowed to exercise, but you could still exercise. Just in the studies, they didn't allow anybody to exercise. All right, everybody, thanks. You've been a wonderful audience, 7,000 likes. We're very happy about that. And maybe some of you will see again because I normally do like 4 of these a day, 4 different times, okay? Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.